Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the January 20th edition of the Courtside with Coach Crist show. I'm Greg Crist. That is my good buddy Dave Gorby. We weathered the storm, so to speak, Gorb, to get out here today. What a nasty day. And this weather has been treacherous, canceling out all the ball games and making it hard on us to get out and do the show. But we managed. It's about 13 degrees. There's about 8, 10, 12 inches of snow in different places around here. But Darren got his driveway cleaned also. He was able to get down into the house.
Man, if I knew you was going to do a weather update, we should have called WAY's guy, see if he would have came on the show today.
Yep. Or
we got our own guy.
We got our own guy. Yeah, we'll talk to him here in a minute. Maybe he'll have some updates on the weather. It's supposed to be 60 next week, so we can keep our fingers crossed.
See what he says. Yep. I don't know.
Want to remind everybody, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like, a thumbs up on Facebook. That always helps us. You can also watch on Roku TV if that is your pleasure. You can do that. So right off the bat here, Dave, the first thing we'd like to do each and every show is we'd like to go out to our One Eye in the Sky, our Chopper One radio traffic and weatherman, and that is Mr. Muggy McLeod. And I think Muggy might be out there. Muggy, are you with us?
Yes, sir, Coach. I am right here, ready to go.
All right, Muggy, what's going on? Where you at and what's happening there?
Well, Coach, good evening, as you said, and I must get my plug in. This is Muggy McLeod and my house cleaning sidekick, Misty Rains, with your One Eye in the Sky NRN Chopper One traffic and weather report.
Awesome.
We are running a little behind getting to Buffalo for the weekend's Bills and Chiefs game after getting hung up over Morgantown, where the rumors are swirling about the governor's race. I don't want to, Coach, now, I don't want to blow anyone's story based on rumors and speculation, and that would suck and destroy my journalistic integrity. But anyway, there's stuff going on, and maybe it'll come out in the end. I don't know. But anyway, wait, there's Buffalo now approaching us, or we're approaching it, I should say, and there's a lot of snow up here, Coach. So basically, traffic is non-existent. Just a few snowmobiles, a polar bear, and some middle-aged men with no shirts on in the back of a pickup truck.
Bill's Mafia.
Yes, and they have flags a-flying. There's Bill's flag and American flag, and there's another flag. But anyway, and they have letters painted on their chests and back. Let's get a closer look, Misty. Okay, on their chest it spells. Let me look a little closer, Coach. TRUMBONES. Trombones. Okay, and on their back, BLOM. No, wait a minute. He's falling. No, that's a W. Trombones blow, and they are correct. Those trombones do blow.
Yeah.
Just like the snow.
Yeah.
Okay, Coach, as we fly over the snow-covered stadium, I believe I see a snow angel on the 40.
Huh.
Oh, wait, that's actually Kenny Pickett's body flattened from the last sack of the game last week. He's frozen in time like a block of ice. The grimace still on his face. Oh, God, the humanity. Let's move on, Misty. This is horrible. Okay, Coach. We're circling the stadium now, and kids are outside having a fun time playing on an enormous walrus-looking hairy slicky slide. No, wait, that's the Chiefs are here, and that's Andy Reid's mustache that they're riding around. Ooh, wait a minute, that didn't sound too good. Anyway, okay, Coach, on to the weather. Sponsored by, nobody. Everything's closed up here. Nobody wants to sponsor anything.
Yeah.
And, of course, the weather is crappy, and they are expecting not inches, but feet of snow. So we need more aptitude. We need more aptitude.
I got you.
Yes, sir. See, Coach, a play on words. Anyway, we need to get up in the air away from all this snow because it's getting deep up here, Coach, as usual when we're flying around. So, okay, Coach, that does it for me. Who am I? Muggy McLeod is who I am. And, we're here with my beautiful Misty Rains flying us around Buffalo, New York, where the snow is pretty and deep. But, this has been your One Eye in the Sky, NRN, Chopper One traffic and weather team report.
All right, Muggy. Appreciate you. Goodbye. Be safe. All right.
Sorry, Coach. You broke up like me and my high school girlfriend.
All right, Muggy. I just crashed your helicopter. Be safe out there.
Yes, sir, Coach.
Over and out.
Over and out.
Now, I don't know if Muggy knows it or not, but Mason Rudolph was actually the quarterback for the Steelers.
Yeah, no. I
Muggy's not a sports guy. He's just a weather guy.
Like the funny thing is, we always try to get a hold of our guy 3DP.
Yep.
He's a Bills Mafia guy. Now, should we give him a game update, or we just stick with Pitt Sports updates with him?
I think Pitt updates with him. I
No Bills Mafia.
Don't give him anybody good. Wouldn't have nothing to pick on him about this. All right, Gorb. Last week or last show, whenever that was, I don't even remember now. We decided to put this new segment in called "Hell Yeah, Hell No." Mm-hmm. And what we're doing is we're each one of us coming up with a couple of hell yeahs and a couple of hell no's for the week past, and we've had a week and a half now. And I think the last time I said I'll let you go first, and then we'll talk about them a little bit after we give our hell yeahs and hell no's. So what's your first hell yeah?
Well, my first hell yeah is probably the most pro sport I watched throughout the whole year has officially started. They've already gotten 2 tournaments done in Hawaii. They're in California this week. Is professional golf, people.
Yes, sir.
And that's because they play about 49 weekends out of the year. That's why it's the most watched for me. So even the Champions Tour's out in Hawaii this week. It'd be nice to be out there.
I actually got to play where they do the first one, Kapalua.
Okay.
Me and my brothers, of course.
Yeah.
Andy, he fronted the trip. We went out to Hawaii, and we played Kapalua, and that's where they play the first one.
So I've never been out there, but is that like? Which island is that? Is that the one with Honolulu on it, or
no? We were on Maui. Maui's where Kapalua
is.
Yeah, that's one caught on fire here not long ago.
So where is just history? Pearl Harbor. Which island is that?
It's on the Big Island, I think.
Okay,
Hawaii. I think. I ain't sure.
Well,
I'm a history teacher. I should know that. We'll look that up and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But Kapalua is on Maui, and I actually we got to go out there and play. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm glad to see it start. When you see that first Masters commercial.
Yeah, that came on during the bowl games, didn't it? Yeah.
You almost feel like spring is right around the corner.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, good one. So what's the next?
I'm gonna go with Chicago Bulls. They had their first Ring of Honor last week. They had a couple older guys on there that can't remember their names. I know Red Kerr got on there. He was the first coach ever in the organization, but the 96 Bulls team that went 72 wins was honored on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they had a lot of the – Michael didn't get in there. Dennis wasn't able to come, but – Michael had real nice video there, but they had a lot of bands. You did have Phil there. You had Tony Kukoc. They played the Warriors, so Steve Kerr was able to be there that night. So it was a pretty cool event.
Are you a Bulls fan?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears. What's up with the Chicago theme?
So I mean, Michael Jordan.
Right.
So, and then I tell you the White Sox. It was Frank Thomas. I'm a White Sox. I'm a North Sider. I don't like that team in the North. The Bears came along. They beat the Cowboys sometime during that '90s run. It's just like Jimmy Johnson said. He loves the Cowboys fans, and he also he thanked the millions of people that despises the Cowboys because that's what makes football so great. And the Bears beat them. I was like, well, I already like these two teams. So,
yeah.
And then like right after that, that's when we got Brian Urlacher and had, we were pretty good in 2000s. Yeah, so hopefully if we make the right decisions this offseason, hopefully the Bears will make a couple moves,
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, that's a good hell yeah with the Bulls. Not, I'm a Celtics fan, so I didn't really get to see any of that, so I hate that. But I'll go back and try to watch it.
Yeah, it was last weekend. It was pretty cool. They brought them in. They had a big, one of those dinners the night before, and then I guess they did a thing at halftime. during the like I said, it was the game with the Warriors. So it was cool to have Steve Kerr there too with that.
Heck
you know.
I did see where they were going to do that. I didn't see it, but I did see where they were going to do it. What's your? You got a couple hell no's?
Well, let me go back to the Ring of Honor. Okay, so Jerry Krause, he was the GM.
Right.
He's passed away. Had his wife there. Literally, I don't know. It wasn't the whole crowd, but got a lot of negative.
Booter.
Yeah, booter. I mean, I get it because he was kind of the one that shut it down back in the 90s.
Right.
But
hey, hold on just a second.
What in the world?
We got an audience caller here. Hello, it's Courtside with Coach Chris. Who am I talking to?
Coach, this is Mike McCrappy with the Cowboys, and I'm so sorry. Jerry, wait, Mr. Jones. Oh, God.
Man, Mike McCrappy from the Cowboys. That's a bad thing. Yeah,
oh boy,
I'll
tell you.
And I don't know what. I guess still tore up over at big playoff loss. I guess.
I mean, they're doing so great in the regular season.
Yeah, they do it every year. All right, we got another call. Looks like here. Let's see who this is. Courtside with Coach Chris. Who am I talking to?
Coach, this is Nick Stinkfanny. I just wanted to say, so sorry to Sid and Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like the Eagles guy. I didn't get his name, but man, well, here's another one. I don't know who. Let's keep coming. All right, Courtside with Coach Chris. Who am I talking to?
Coach, hey man, this is Mike Tumblin. And I'm sorry again for making the playoffs with a horrible team and losing, and you'll have to put up with another year, Pittsburgh. Oh, God.
I'm not even going to try to respond, but they're just going to cry.
It
should be one more or four of them, right? There were four coaches that lost this past week. Yep.
There we go.
Right on it. Right on it.
Mm-hmm.
Courtside with Coach Chris.
Coach, this is Kevin Skansky, and oh God, it's been a horrible week, and I'm like seeing things, and Mr. Modell, is that you? Oh, the fumble, right, 88.
You left out the drive.
Yeah, right.
All right, I think that's all four coaches that lost in the playoffs last week, crying the blues right
Man,
now.
I'll tell you.
That's pretty rough there.
Yeah.
All right, well, go ahead with your hell no's. That was a hell no there. That was that booing her was awful.
I mean, like the funny thing is, I'm kind of like right on the cusp of remembering the 90s.
Oh, I remember.
And a lot of those people in that crowd were probably younger than me, and they just know Jerry Krause from the documentary from a few years ago.
That's exactly, and they know that Jordan didn't get along with him and all that kind of stuff, and they just boo because of that.
But I mean, he was the man that kind of put it all together. It was just it just ran its course is what happened there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he won all them championships. How you gonna boo him? I mean, come on, he did something right. You know? So, all right, good hell no right there. That was good. When I saw that, I was like, golly, that's pretty tight there. Yeah. Rough. All right, well, got another one?
Can I say the weather? I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you can co-sign that one too. I don't know.
Absolutely. Treacherous, yucky, nasty, snowy, cold, but it's supposed to get better.
Yeah. The one thing I hate about the weather, it's not like, I'm from West Virginia. I can snow, but I hate when stuff gets canceled. I hate when games get canceled. Yeah, that's the one thing I hate.
Yeah, it screws up everything.
Or postpone. My bad. Let me say postpone.
Yeah, it screws up everything. Get your plans all in line. Get your system all worked out, and then interruptions. Yep. What you gonna do? You can't take a chance with this nasty stuff because the roads are so bad you can't risk it. Anyway, all right, I got a couple of hell yeahs for you. First one is the WVU women's basketball team. Yeah, rolling right along. They did lose a game, but man, they've been kicking butt.
I tell you, what Rim Baker's dealt with this whole year of being the AD. That this is definitely one thing I
think he got this one right.
This guy's definitely come in and. Says and they were good last year with I can't remember her name. that went to Minnesota.
Yeah, I forgot her name too. She wasn't here long enough for us to get her name.
But man, starting out, what are they? 14-2 or 13-2 or something?
14-2, I think. And they beat Houston the other night, and it was a massacre. They and Houston's 11-5.
Yeah,
and it was like 38-6 at halftime. And they just destroyed them. They beat them by 40. So good for them. And we'll keep watching. We need to go watch them play a game, I guess. You never get to see them much on TV. Every now and then,
right?
But very rarely. You need to go watch them. My other hell yeah is the Midland Trail boys basketball team. Curtis Miller got the boys rolling over in Hico, 7-2 right now, ranked. I think I saw number 9 in the state in AAA.
Yep.
So big hell yeah to Curtis Miller and the Midland Trail Patriots.
Yeah, old Kurt and Noah, man, they've been at it.
Yeah.
They've been at it, and it's good to see them getting some win and getting some recognition too. You know,
finally having a little success. Yeah, it's been a while. So congratulations to those guys. Keep it up, boys. My Hell Nows, my first Hell Nows, the Browns got drilled in the playoffs, and I don't know, man. You start, even though you struggle and you have injuries, you fight through it and have a good season. You make the playoffs, you're all happy and feel good, and then you get drilled. And honestly, I told my wife, who hates sports but was sitting there with me while I was watching, and I said, the Browns look extremely lethargic, like they don't even want to be there. And then they got killed after that. And you could tell. So I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the week they didn't play. I don't know if they were just done. Kind of like the Eagles.
How about the Texans? I mean, they pick. You know, nothing's guaranteed. Right. Nothing's guaranteed on pick, which is a generational player and all that. But it seems like they hit on the C.J. Stroud part. Yeah.
He looks pretty daggone good, and they look good. Their team's pretty good. I don't think they can. I don't think they can beat the Ravens, but I think they're pretty good. And
they're on the up and horizon.
Yep, that's right. Sure are. And they got that quarterback. That's the main thing. And he looks like a good one. My other hell no is for Texas men's basketball coach Rodney Terry complaining about UCF doing the horns down after they upset Texas.
Well, it's a 15-yard penalty in football. So what are they doing in basketball?
Isn't it absurd? Nothing yet. But, yeah, they created, it makes no sense to me that they can do the horns up signal perfectly fine. Exactly. But you do the horns down and you get a 15-yard penalty. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. And
do you think the SEC will bow down?
I don't think so.
Because that was a Big 12 rule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think any other conference would do that. I don't think anybody would do that. No, they're going to live with it. And the more people like him complain, he better worry about winning basketball games instead of worrying about that stuff. Going through the handshake line, fussing at the other team for doing it. That's classless. What's classless is him going through it, running his mouth, and not being able to suck it up and take it like a man because you got your ass kicked. Just going through the line, shake hands, congratulate them, move on. If they do horns down, more power to them. Next time, you beat them. You know? But that's the stupidest thing. And I heard him complain about that. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Just shut up, dude, and coach your basketball team, man. And you make sure you tell them not to do the horns up if you don't want anybody doing the horns down. So that's the craziest thing I ever heard. And the more they bitch about it and complain about it, the more people are going to do it. You know that, right?
Oh, I know. That's why we do it.
Yeah. And I think we have to give Will Greer all the credit in the world because I think he's the one that most vigorously and most noticeably did that.
Well,
he got it started.
Well, it was his time is when they started calling penalties. Right. I think Gino did it.
Yeah, I think he did too.
I think Gino did it.
Yeah,
and but yeah, I remember. I think it was David Seals actually got the penalty, man, just
what a joke,
just crazy,
just crazy. Joke. That's the biggest joke ever. So, and I would tell him to his face if I get him off. I'm like, dude, come on, man, you gonna complain about that?
Yeah,
I mean, you guys do horns up, right? What's the difference? All right, we need to run a little bit behind here. Let's get us a quick break in. We didn't tell you who our guest was this week. I'm gonna come back here in just a minute, and I'm gonna read his bio first. Then I'm going to take another break and call him, and then we'll get him on. But our guest today is Jim Workman. And if you know anything about sports in West Virginia, media, you know this guy's name. And it's going to be a lot of fun to talk to him. And I'm going to read his bio here just a minute. I usually try to steer away from a whole lot of that because they're sometimes they're a little lengthy, but this one is really good. And I was interested in just reading his bio. So I'm going to do that. And I want to do it before I get him on the air because I don't want him on there holding. Then when we get him on, we'll just talk to him as long as we want to, as long as he wants to talk. So let's get a quick break in. We'll come back and we will talk to Jim Workman. He is the man at Wally and Wimpy's. He owns that. So let's take a break and we'll be back with that after these messages. Stay with us here on the Courtside with Coach Chris show on the New River Network. We'll be back.
Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. See hard-hitting wrestling action from today's rising stars in independent wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan of any generation, let us introduce you to the hottest wrestling promotion in West Virginia. You can also join a live show at the Crossroads Mall. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network.
Welcome back to the Courtside with Coach Chris show. Greg Crist, Dave Gorby, Darren McGuffin coming to you live from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out here on Gatewood Road in the snowy, blustery, cold weather. We made it out to get a show in today. We couldn't get it done Thursday. We had a game scheduled, but of course it got canceled. With the weather, we decided just to wait till today to put the show on. So probably replay it again Thursday night for you. So we hope you enjoy watching. We hope you stay tuned in as we bring our guest on here in just a minute, Mr. Jim Workman that I mentioned before we went to break. I want to read his bio. Normally I don't do this, but I want to go ahead and read his bio because I was fascinated when I saw it. I was like, my goodness, what has this guy not done? Anyway, he is the editor and publisher and I think now owner of Wally and Wimpy's Sports Digest. If you're a sports fan, college football fan, you know about Wally and Wimpy's. He's a member of the Football Writers Association of America, the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. Currently, he is also an outreach director. From 13 to 17, he served as assistant managing editor at the State Journal, West Virginia's business newspaper, published weekly by the West Virginia Media Holdings. Among his top beats at the State Journal Business, the Department of Agriculture, West Virginia Lottery, West Virginia Film Office, Resorts, Food, and Sports and Recreation, including the New Orleans Saints training camp in West Virginia. He began primarily in sports in writing for the Charleston Gazette. A lot of people will remember that, and the Register Herald. People around here will remember that until 2009. From 10 to 13, he served as the assistant managing editor for the Register Herald, where he contributed editorials and managed the newsroom staff. He also oversaw a daily coverage of the Greenbrier Classic, a PGA Tour event, also the National Boy Scouts Jamboree at the Register Herald. He won 2 West Virginia Press Association awards in 2013, first and second place in Best Editorial Page category. In the largest newspaper division, he also served as the vice president of the West Virginia Sports Writers Association. He's been a columnist covering West Virginia high school football and the West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference for statewide, distributed by Wally and Wimpy's Football Digest for 15 years. Prior to the print experience, he served as a radio sports talk show host in the Kanawha Valley on WCHS AM and WQBE AM. He was the founder and editor of West Virginia Sports on the Net, WVSPN, which is where you see a lot of him now. After a stint in California from 04 to 05, he served as sports editor for the Los Angeles newspaper group. He returned home and worked as sports information director, athletic marketing director for the University of Charleston from 05 to 08. He's still very, very active in all these sports endeavors. And West Virginia, like I said, if you are a fan of West Virginia high school sports or sports in general in West Virginia, you know who this guy is. He's got a phenomenal bio resume and does a lot of good work.
Yeah, you talk about Wally and Wimpy's right there. Yeah. I mean, I remember so much back in the day going into Go Mart
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
picking up one of those things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
Couldn't wait to get our Wally Wimpies, man. And still get them. And good stuff. I mean, just all good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's take a quick break now. What we're going to do is break off real quick, and then we'll get him on the phone, and then we will be right back with that interview. So if you'll stay with us here on the New River Network, Courtside with Coach Crist show, Greg Crist, Dave Gorby, and here in just a moment, Jim Workman. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. See hard-hitting wrestling action from today's rising stars in independent wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan of any generation, let us introduce you to the hottest wrestling promotion in West Virginia. You can also join a live show at the Crossroads Mall. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network.
Welcome back to the Courtside with Coach Crist show. Greg Crist along with Dave Gorby and Darren McGuffin here at McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road. We trudged out in the cold and snow today to make it out here for the show. We are tickled right now, and we were laughing during the break. We were talking to Jim Workman on the phone and about the bio that I read. It is a little outdated. He's got a ton more stuff, and I could read it. Like I said, it would take half the show to read it all, but he's got some updates for us. So we'll get those updates for him just a minute. The one thing I did fail to mention, too, and I want to make sure we mention, is the fact that he has his own show that he does on the live stream format, and it's pretty good. I watched it. He sent me an episode. I watched an episode on the mental aspects of high school athletes and what the impact is on those athletes, and it was very, very interesting. And so I would encourage him. We'll get him to give us the name and where we can find all that as we talk to him. Jim Workman, we appreciate you joining us today.
Hey, Coach, I appreciate the invitation. That's one of my heck yes of the week. I got an invitation to be on your show, so I appreciate it.
You know, it's odd. I had talked to Jim Holland, calls me periodically just to, give me an update on his life. And he and I were talking. We got to talking about you, and I'm thinking to myself, why have I not ever had him on the show? Man, I need to get him on the show. But anyway, that's how this all came about. I told Jim, I said, well, I'm going to try to get him on and see if he'll do it. And you were kind enough to do it, and we do appreciate that. You have had a storied career when it comes to media coverage mostly in West Virginia. All the things that you've done and covered. I want to talk to you and let you talk about your career and how you got started in all this, how it's evolved, and where you're at today and what you're doing.
Okay, great. Again, I appreciate being on your show, and I think this is definitely the future of media. Is people like you and me getting on YouTube or whatever the format is, and just being able to kind of be uncensored and talk about what we want to talk about. So I certainly appreciate you having me on. But I think, you talk about the career. I think it's just been the grind, man. You just have to grind it out, man. It's been a long while. I mean, I was a young man. Even as a kid, I just loved sports. And some of my older cousins were playing high school and college sports successfully around here. And I just really got the bug early and just started following it. And, of course, that was the era where all the kids, all the boys had baseball cards in their back pockets. I just devoured everything that I could sports-wise. During the elementary school book fairs that they had, you could buy a paperback book for 75 cents.
Yep.
And, my parents were very supportive of me reading. So I devoured everything that I could reading. And mostly it was sports related. So, I've just had a love for sports really my whole life. And it kind of led to the career that I've had.
When you see things like, I mean, it must be troubling. I haven't done this as a career. I just started doing this 5 or 6 years ago. When you see things like what's happened with Sports Illustrated, for example, I know that must really leave a hole in you somewhere when you see stuff like that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but when you're in it as a business, you really don't have the opportunity to have any nostalgic emotions in it, because I've kind of been through it all. Like I started the online thing in 1998 with West Virginia Sports on the Net, and people had no idea what it was.
Right.
I mean, this was before, Twitter. It was before, any of that stuff. The only way that you could interact with sports fans was to create your own website and get it up there. And you just wouldn't believe the beginnings in '98. That was before digital cameras. People don't really remember that. Yeah. And, I had to, and you couldn't really update a website. You had to have somebody that had some knowledge of that programming. So in the first year of doing online sports reporting, we were taking a picture with a regular camera, going down to the 1 hour photo place, getting it developed, laying it face down on a scanner, scanning it, and then sending it to someone that would upload it for us. But hey, we were covering sports the same day before the newspaper came out in the morning. So it was kind of a pioneering era of online sports reporting, which I'm really proud of now. But now everybody's doing it, and I'm doing print. Can you believe that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. You went the opposite direction, but I think as far as the print, since you mentioned that, the Wally and Wimpy's thing. Let's talk about that just a little bit. I know everybody. I mean, I'm 62 years old, but I remember Wally's and Wimpy's forever, and I think that when you talk sports with somebody and you mention that, everybody knows what that is, and that's something that you've been handling for quite a while. Tell us about that experience and what's going on with all that.
Okay, great. I was preparing for the show today. I was just thinking how long I've been involved with Wally's and Wimpy's, and it's at least 25 years that I've been involved in it. And the previous publisher was Tim Northrup. He had a company out of Parkersburg called Light Point Publishing. And I was the same as you guys. I would stop at a convenience store or a restaurant, and I would pick up a copy on the way to a radio talk show that I was doing. Right. And you were instantly ready to take on any question that a caller might have. Yep. Like the schedules are in there, the odds were in there, everything that you really needed, so you wouldn't get, and that was before the internet and having a phone beside you. So, I got involved with Tim and started writing for him. I did the high school ratings for him, and I did the West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference column, and just a little bit of everything 25 years ago. And then Tim decided to retire from the publishing part of his companies, and this is the 6th year since I've taken it over as the owner and publisher and editor and main dishwasher, anything that needs to be done with Wally's and Wimpy's. But I have had a whole lot of help too. A lot of great contributors. One of the guys is down your way, Cam Huffman. He's written some for me, and Butch Antolini's been writing quite a bit for me, and just several other people. Rich Stevens is another guy that was with the Charleston Daily Mail for a while, and just guys like that have really helped us. And then we also, I am with the West Virginia Sports Writers Association, so there's a lot of content that comes out of that, and I got to give a hats off to Rich, who he does the West Virginia Sports Writers Association website. We never had one until 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, if you want to know who an all-state team was, 20 years ago, that's the resource. WVSWA.org. He does a great job with it. So all that content, we'll put it in Wally's and Wimpy's. So, it's just been a good thing with a lot of good people helping me out.
That thing seems to still, I mean, it still has its popularity. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, I get on that website so much. I mean, just to look at, like, how many sectionals did Mount Hope win its history? Just stuff like that. I mean, it's a very good website, man. You talk about, man. You mentioned WVSPN, man. That's crazy. I remember getting on that message board so many times back in the day. That was a great website.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I think like as the Wally Wimpy's hard print is to me, the popularity of it seems like to me that it's still there. I mean, it hadn't gone anywhere, and I mean, I still enjoy grabbing it and looking at it. Love going in there in the go marks and seeing it sitting there. Grab one up. Yeah, it just.
Well, Wally's and Wimpy's is a niche product, and that's something you don't really want to look at your phone or your tablet. You want to carry it in your back pocket. You want to get your pen out and you want to write in it. Right. It's just a resource that people still really require in print, and and that's the feedback that I've got, and I'm really thankful for it. And the things that you guys are saying about it, that really makes it worthwhile to put out when people feel that strongly about it, and we hear that occasionally. I mean, Ben Salango, who's a county commissioner here in Kanawha County, and he's from Raleigh County, and he told me one time that that he and his father looked forward to getting to Wally's and Wimpy's when he was a kid. They would take it out and they would write in it, and they just really had a bonding time over it. So that was really cool to hear.
And Salango didn't they have the
Old Mountain Trader.
The Old Mountain Trader. Yeah, I was going to say there was a magazine, similar kind of thing. Right. But it dealt with other things. They did that, so I'm sure they had a really unique interest in that. And I'm with him. I can remember. I mean, for years, we'd always go to Morgantown for the football games, stopping on the way up and grabbing one. Man, we always had one with us, and it just brings back a lot of memories. And I knew you had done that, and then it just kind of slipped my mind. And then when Jim told me again, I'm like, that's right, that's the greatest thing ever. I love that magazine. It was that's pretty cool stuff. You've done some PA stuff as well, reading through your history. I know for the Wheelers, I think I read, and down Charleston. And how'd that go for you, and how'd that come about? I know a lot of people think that's easy stuff to do, but it's not easy to do. It's not.
Yeah, what was really cool was I was associated with the radio station there in Charleston, and that's how I got my start really professionally, was co-hosting radio talk shows. The main guy was John Dickensheets at the time. Yep. And there were several other guys, and then he would always have sports editors from the Daily Mail and the Gazette on, and that's how I got to know Chuck Landon and Danny Wells. And Danny one day just told me that they could use somebody to cover some games, and I thought, you know what, I can do that. And so I did it, and the rest is history. I moved from radio to print in that way. Right. So, and I wanted to mention about Wally's and Wimpy's too, that we're talking about print versus digital. One of the things that's challenging about that is because some people are strongly print, some people are strongly digital, but the challenge that we've had to overcome is kind of solved with the front of the print product. We put a QR code on there. So, for instance, in the January edition, we only are monthly in the off season from football. Right. So in the January, it's it could be outdated with the NFL stuff. Every week there's playoff games going on. So if people take their camera out and scan that QR code, they go to a free update on our page. So we're updating the brackets in the NFL and putting new information out there, and that's a way to bridge the gap between the print people and the digital people. That
There you go.
Yep.
we figured out a way to overcome that
Yep. So
and still be relevant.
yeah. So the historic Wallies and Wimpies is modernizing in one way, still old fashioned
Right.
in another. So yeah, and I know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I look at my phone, I read stuff on my phone, I read Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But if it comes to down to reading a book or an article, I want it in my hand, and I know that's old fashioned, but I like to hold it and read it, and that's why I like this the Wallies and Wimpies. I can hold on to it, like he said. You can write in it, mark it, and what we do here with this stuff, it's nice to have a resource like that because it really keeps you updated on things, and it's really cool. You also have your own show, the Jim Workman Show, I believe is what it's called, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that a little bit. Tell us what you do on there and when it's on, and get people to watch it.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do a show like this for a while, and it wasn't really an ego thing, despite it being named after me. But the reason why I did that was because I kind of wanted to distance myself from only being a sports program.
Uh-huh.
So if I called it Wallies and Wimpies Show,
Right.
then I would be kind of, that's a sports product. So I used my name, and the episode that you mentioned has a thread of sports in it because we interviewed the WVSSAC Executive Director, David Price, about a new initiative that they're presenting, which is a focus on the mental health awareness in the state of West Virginia with middle school and high school student athletes. And as I read that and he agreed to be on, I thought, this is great content. And I actually had a outstanding student athlete from Nitro High School who is a senior this year. Her name's Kendall Perry, and she's had to overcome quite a lot. Injuries, she's had some knee surgeries, she's even had a heart condition she's had to overcome. And actually next week she's going to sign with a college to further her career in swimming.
Oh,
So
cool.
I just thought she's a great kid. She talked about in this episode how sports has helped her with discipline, and she's a straight A student, and also how it's helped her kind of toughen up mentally and take on these challenges that she's had. So, and then we had a couple of therapists on right after Kendall to just kind of bring it around. And I think mental health awareness is something that people did not talk about until the last couple of years, but a lot of people deal with it. I'd go so far to say that everybody deals with it to some degree. So I really thought that an episode like that was something that would help some people and also be very informative. So that's the type of thing I want to do. I've put out 4 episodes so far. A couple of them have been exclusively about sports, but that one about mental health awareness. And I've got 4 more episodes in various stages of production, and about half of them are sports related and half of them aren't. So that's kind of the direction that we're going to go with.
So do you do this on do you put them on weekly, or you just put them out there and then people can go look at them when they want, or how do you do that?
I wish I could be as disciplined as you guys.
Well, no, you don't either.
I really would like to do it weekly, but I think for right now, a lot of the stuff, I don't sit down and talk and have people on live like you do.
Mm-hmm.
What I've done is, like I said, I've got 4 more in production, various stages. So I've went out and interviewed people. And so I'm kind of treating it more like a talk show than a podcast.
Gotcha.
It's distributed like a podcast, but its format is more like a talk show.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I'd like to put more episodes out. I was lazy over the holidays and haven't got anything out except a bowl episode. But I'm going to get more into it. I've got a studio in Hurricane that it's called The Coop. It's a co-op workspace that really they helped me get it off the ground, but I also have a in-home studio, so I have no excuse.
Right. Well, and I guarantee you got contacts everywhere, so you should have no trouble rounding up guests. That's for sure, because you've made enough contacts over your lifetime, I'm sure. Where do you see? I know it to me it's kind of sad, but where do you see the print aspect of all this going? Everything's digitized now. It's all on the internet. Newspapers are obviously struggling. Do you think that they're just going to become dinosaurs, disappear, or do you think that there's some way that they can stick it out and hang on?
Well, it's a great question. I wish I had a crystal ball and could predict the future, but I think that it's going to be hyper local information that survives that you can't get anywhere else. Right. And it's going to be a brand name like a Wally's and Wimpy's that people will support, something like that. Now, I don't think people want to pick up a paper if there's nothing in there that they couldn't have gotten on the internet, and there's old information. Let's face it, a lot of the information you would pick up in the newspaper right now is something that happened yesterday or the day before. Right. So that's the challenge with publishers and editors. They really need to figure it out, how to still be relevant when that paper hits their porch or when it hits their mailbox or when it hits their hands when they pick it up at the store. Yeah. That information that they get has to be relevant for that day and the coming days. Right. I think you can't be lazy and just go cover an event and write about it. I think you've got to be more proactive. It's going to be a challenge, but people are interested in news. Obviously, they're devouring news like never before. Right. So you just have to do it right. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of just younger folks, newer generation. Dave, you're included in this. At instant gratification, when things happen, I can remember back when I was a kid growing up. If something happened, you heard about it a couple of days later. You read it in the paper the next day or the day after, and then as I, through my teaching career, it really became clear to me that it was about immediate. They wanted to know what was going on immediately, and you couldn't interest young folks in day old news. They had to see what was happening at that instant. I always call it the time of the car chase, because back then on the news they'd put car chases on there, and you'd sit there and watch a white Ford Bronco go riding down the highway, and that was the big news. But it's an instant gratification time, and I wonder, because I always enjoyed the newspaper, and of course I've gotten out of the habit of. I used to read it every day, and I've kind of gotten out of that habit. I do it periodically, but not like I used to. And like you said, unfortunately, it's not available every day.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
I don't know that there's a 7-day newspaper left.
Yeah, so. You're right when you say that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, our local Register Herald, it went. I don't remember what the days are, but it's not every day anymore. And the Charleston Gazette's the same way. So it's kind of sad, but like you said, I think people got to think outside the box.
Go ahead. My bad.
Just think outside the box. Got to come up with ways to, to get people pulled in, and like you said, they devour the news. So surely there's some ideas out there that can work. We hope, anyway. You did you sent this to me too, which I found interesting. I meant to show Dave before we got on the air, but it slipped my mind. That you did an article in your paper. You had, I don't remember where it was at, but you gave me the page numbers, and I read it. It was about the best athletes of certain times and that sort of thing. It was really cool. And by the way, and I enjoyed looking at that because it brought back a lot of memories. But tell us, talk to me a little bit about that. I just curious when I was reading it, I was like, are these people that you just mostly watched? You saw them play, obviously. A lot of them were Kanawha Valley folks, or was it kind of a statewide thing, or how'd you come up with your ideas there? That was interesting.
A little bit of both. It was triggered by a guy named Taylor Kennedy of the Gazette Mail.
Yes.
He reached out to me and 25 other people in the state that have covered, or I think he called some coaches and radio broadcasters and sports writers. There were 25 panelists, and he asked us to rank the top 5 West Virginia high school football players of all time and the teams. And it was published, I think it was New Year's Eve in the Gazette Mail and on their website. So No, their combined list of top 5 players and teams was Randy Moss at number 1, Kurt Warner of Pineville, number 2, Robert Alexander, 3, J.R. House, 4, and Sam Huff, 5. So I took a little different twist with my list for Wallies and Wimpies. What I did was, I never saw Sam Huff play.
Right.
Unfortunately, I never saw Kurt Warner play. So I eliminated guys that I had never seen play.
How young are you?
I was old enough to see Kurt Warner play. But
all right. That's good enough.
So I had to eliminate him. So what I did is I did a top 10 players that I had seen personally.
Okay.
And so, that, and I went back to my childhood. Like I said, when I was 10 years old, I was watching Kanawha Valley Conference football, and it was probably at its peak at that point.
Right.
I mean, there was just some tremendous players, and I remember him. I remember Robert Alexander playing in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
was just so into it. And there's a famous picture that ran in the Gazette, his last high school game ever. And there was a picture that ran in the paper of him sitting on the bench at the end of the bench with his back right against the metal fence and a group of kids leaning over to get his autograph.
Wow.
And now I'm not in that photo, but I was the first kid that reached over that fence.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is
that? And I became friends with Robert in his adult life.
Awesome.
And as a matter of fact, I was close to his family, and his wife asked me to write his obituary.
Wow.
So
awesome.
I did that.
Wow.
So, but anyway, that I'd say that just to demonstrate how far I go back with these guys. So my number one guy that was in agreement with the rest of the panel. I saw Randy Moss play
Right.
As a sports writer. That I had just really gotten started with the Gazette. And so I got to see him quite a bit. I saw Randy play football, and where I grew up in Winfield, we had a lot of deer in our backyard. So I've seen a deer run like in an open field.
Yep.
And that's as close to a description to Randy Moss that I could think of.
Yeah,
he ran like a deer.
He's pretty phenomenal. Yeah, and Randy, about him. I'm not so sure he wasn't just as good as a basketball player as he was a football player. I saw him play basketball plenty of times. Wow, he could play some basketball too.
Got to see him play basketball. I actually got to see him play baseball too his senior year. And of course, I think he participated in track.
Yes, he did.
Yep. And that would have been, I think, that's probably a unanimous selection, I would think. And I noticed on your list, geographically, what I saw, so I see what you did there. But, and I think it could be, it could be a debate that could go on forever about these different players. But when you start, talking to folks from different areas, they come up with different people. And
that's right.
Up here in our area, of course, you would want to mention Lonnie Warwick, of course, as a 15-year NFL player.
I'm not that old.
No, I'm not quite old enough to have seen him play, but I have seen video of him play. Matter of fact, I probably did see him play, but I just don't remember. I was too young to remember. How about that? Right. Tom Pridemore would be another one we'd think of up here.
Sure,
had a nice long NFL career. That could go on, and you talk about Randy Moss, but Jason Williams, basketball player. Probably one of the best basketball players anybody's ever seen around here. So, I think that could be a debate that you could really work on. And if you looked at it geographically and in eras too, different eras would be, because it's hard for, somebody like you guys, for example, to remember some of these players that I might remember, And that would be an interesting thing. But I did find it interesting. It was fun to read. And like I said, it brought back a lot of memories because I was coaching during that time. And but saw all these guys play and coached against them and that sort of thing. So it was really fun to read those. That was interesting and brought back some memories. Now, before
you can get the digital part of that, it's open to anybody.
Okay.
I opened it up for free. You can go to WallyWimpySports.com and click on the digital edition.
Okay.
And it'll pop up.
Awesome.
I have set up a page where if you want to support Wallies and Wimpies, you go to a page called Patreon, patreon.com/Wally Wimpies. And and then you can contribute $4 a month, and then you get everything we've put up there for the last 5 years.
Okay.
It's all archived on there.
Will you say that one more time? Let me type this up so I'll have it here. Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon.
Patreon.
Well, go to WallyWimpySports.com, and then that will be easier. Wally, singular, Wimpy, singular, sports.com.
Okay.
And then everything you need is access there. And also on our social media pages, we always put links up there for people to access that stuff. But this issue, we put it open to whether you're subscribing or not, you can access it.
Okay. I'll definitely get on there and subscribe for that. Heck yeah. That's awesome. We'll mention this too, WallyWimpySports.com. We'll mention that so folks out there can check that out and get on and help support you, because it's worth supporting, and we'll definitely push that for you. Now, I did tell you that we'd like to get on here and goof off a little bit and have some fun.
Okay.
And we do a little segment with our guests called Shoot to Three. It comes from my basketball coaching background. I don't know, I just came up with that name, Shoot to Three. And what we do is we ask you 3 rapid fire questions about earth-shattering events. Usually it's something you've never talked about, probably never thought about, and probably never will talk about again. And Dave is my co-host here. He's about 6'6", goes about 285. If you don't answer the questions in 30 seconds, he comes to your house and kneecaps you. But in reality,
fortunately, the snows are icy. And, he doesn't know my address.
That's right. He's not going to be able to make it.
Get away.
Yeah, he's not going to make it today. That's for daggone sure. Yeah. And actually, we just make that up. We don't have any rules, so we just like to ask these questions, see what your answers are. So, if you'll play along with us, we'll get started. Hello, you hung up on me. All right, you ready, Jim?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The clock's getting ready to start. If you had to get a tattoo on your forehead for everyone to see, what would that tattoo be of?
Oh, no. Probably hair, because I have
Excellent.
just do the whole head.
There you go. Forget the forehead, do the whole head. That's a good idea. I might have to do that with myself. All right, next one. If there was going to be a movie made about your life, who would be the lead character playing Jim Workman?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. Probably a bald guy, or a guy who has tattooed hair. So let's go Vin Diesel.
Oh, good one. Looking at his picture up here on the monitor, it kind of resembles him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good answer. Now, let's show our age again. I was thinking Telly Savalas. Y'all probably don't know him, do you?
Kojak.
Yeah, Kojak. There you go. He does remember. All right, and the last one. You're doing good so far. You still got 15 seconds. How would you want to die if you got to pick the way you're going to go out, and other than old age, how are you going to go out?
To fall asleep in my recliner as soon as the Browns win the Super Bowl.
The Browns.
Wow.
Wow.
You'll be on the show again, guys.
Oh, I had forgotten about this. Let's talk about the Browns for a second. I've been a Browns fan, ever since I was a kid. I've been a Browns fan and been to a few Cleveland games and all that. I had forgotten. That's what got me and Jim Holland talking about it, was he was talking about the Browns group that you have down in the valley. And I said, "Oh, that's a guy after my own heart, man. Tell me all about this stuff. I want to hear this."
I've been a Browns fan my whole life, and my heart sunk at the beginning of the show when you said Red Right 88.
Oh my gosh, yes, the drive, the fumble, Red Right 88. It goes on and on and on.
Now, and I had a group of friends. I had a friend from college, and his dad. This is pretty interesting. His dad was a coin dealer. And he went to an auction and he bought Governor Archmore's limousine.
Wow.
So in the 80s, a group of friends from the Kanawha Valley got in Archmore's old limousine and went to Cleveland and watched football games. And I was part of that group.
Wow.
Yeah, so I actually had now these guys had season tickets for decades, but I had season tickets in 1986.
Wow.
And so I went up. That was a great year.
Yep.
I did not do the playoff games. I did the regular season that year. But first time I went up live was Bernie Kosar's first home start in 1985. Then I did the season in 86. And I've I've done games in 87, 88, 89. Of course, when they weren't a team anymore, I kind of lost interest. But I've been up to the new stadium a few times. And now, as far as the Browns backers go, that was really by accident. Actually, I was looking for a group that I knew existed in Charleston, but they and I went online, but they had let their charter expire. So there was nothing going on. So the Cleveland Browns encouraged me to start it again.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so I was doing Wally's and Wimpy's night things at Buffalo Wild Wings in Cross Lane. So I said, hey, would you guys want to have the Browns backers group here? And they said, absolutely. So
Awesome.
They've been very supportive. And as the president of the local chapter, I've gotten to go to training camp a few times. This year we got to meet Joe Thomas.
Wow.
Awesome. I got to meet Bernie Kosar this year.
Fantastic.
So
great.
Now here's what I'm hoping is going to happen this year. Bernie has business in West Virginia.
Huh.
And we got to talking when I got to meet him. He's like, where are you from? And I said, West Virginia. He says, hang on a second. Have you reached out to me on social media? I said, yes. Bernie got his phone out and we exchanged phone numbers.
Wow.
And so he's going to be on the show
Awesome.
at some point. We're going to talk about his business ventures here in West Virginia.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it's just really the Browns backers. They've been really cool. We give out prizes. We had a bunch of cool stuff that we give away, and just it's just fun. It wasn't much fun the last game.
Right. So can you
fun.
as a huge Browns fan, can you just show up to one of your meetings, or what do you do? I mean, can you get involved?
Yes, yeah. The Cleveland Browns website, it's very organized. There's a Browns backers organization. You can go on the website and officially register. And we have 75 people that have officially registered in the last 4 years. So,
awesome.
But, we'll have maybe 20, 25 people show up for each game. And it's a lot of fun. You get to meet some people that have that common interest in following the Browns. So it's been good.
Yeah, well, I said, when I was all my life watching the Browns, I didn't know any Brown. I knew like two other Browns fans. And then the mid-'80s comes along, and Browns fans start popping up everywhere because they were good.
Right.
and now in the last few years, I don't have many, but I've connected with more Browns fans here lately than I think I ever have. But and you mentioned some of those names, but I go back. I remember Leroy Kelly and Greg Pruitt and those guys that played. I watched them back then, and I've been a fan forever. Well, I'm gonna get on there and get registered for sure.
I mean, 76 right there.
Yeah, might come down and join you. Come down and join you. So. That sounds like a lot of fun, man. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. I'm glad you mentioned it there before we got off air. I wanted to talk to you about that. So listen, we could have you back and talk for another hour, I'm sure. Hopefully one day you'll be willing to do that and come back on here and fool around with us some, talk a little bit more. And it has been very interesting getting your perspective on things and hearing all the things that you've done and that you're still doing. We look forward to getting you on here again and talking some more.
All right, great. As far as the print product goes, I have to shout out Parmar stores.
Absolutely,
they have stepped up tremendously, and if it weren't for Parmar stores stepping up initially, we wouldn't have Wally's and Wimpy's.
Right.
They were the first good sponsor, and Buffalo Wild Wings as well, and Comax in Charleston. There's several others, but those are people that have been with me really from the beginning. And, we would encourage anybody else that wants to advertise with us.
That's right.
Keep us afloat.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And, Parmar has done a lot as far as getting involved in the media side of things, the West Virginia sports side of things, and high school athletics and all that. They've done a great deal, to get their name out there, but they've done a lot of support, given a lot of support to a lot of folks, and you have to appreciate them for that. So, hats off to them. And, we'll encourage people to give, and we'll get get this website posted out there so people can see that as well if they want to get in and help support you. We'll absolutely be pushing that all the way because it's something we need to keep alive. Jim, we appreciate you very much. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you, sir. Stay safe and stay warm.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jim. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Jim Workman. That's pretty fascinating stuff to listen to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm telling you, I remember getting on that message board 25 years ago on that website.
Yep.
WVSPN.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep. When I read it today, I was like, oh, I remember that. We should go in there and talk to people all the time about this different stuff. So.
And then after that, it became a Rivals page.
Yep.
And then it became something else after that. Maybe Tri-State Preps. I can't, and... but that's what it originally was WVSPN.
Yep, sure was. Yep. Oh, he's done a lot of cool stuff, and I can't believe we waited this long to have him on. We'll have to get him back on again, and especially during football season because he's got a lot of good insight.
Yeah, right.
And it's a very interesting list too. The list they came up with of the all-time greatest players and stuff. It was pretty cool. And I noticed his, of course, geographically, it was a lot of Kanawha Valley people from him, obviously, and some others. But yeah, the overall list was pretty neat as well. So great job by Jim. We appreciate him very much. And again, we'll get him on again. And like always, we've gone overtime just a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey, we've been here for a while, so we had a lot to talk about.
Yep.
We'll get back with you next week. And not exactly sure ball game wise what we're going to do. I think next week should be pretty cleared up. And
What do you say?
be at Oak Hill on
That's a
Tuesday.
Liberty game.
Game on Tuesday, so we plan on covering that. And what game Saturday? Summers Girls against who? Okay, Summers County Girls will be on Saturday.
Okay.
So you guys on Tuesday, Summers County Girls on Saturday. So you can look forward to that. And the weather's supposed to be good, so hopefully we get all those games in.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate you tuning in to another fine episode of the Courtside with Coach Crist show here on the New River Network. Dave Gorby, appreciate you. As always, Darren, appreciate you. Look forward to bringing you another show next week. So stay with us and hang in there with the weather. We'll do these games as we can do them, as long as they're not canceled out. So stay with us on that. Thanks for joining us. We will talk to you again soon. Good day, everybody.